I did it. I watched the entire Daredevil series in one sitting. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about Daredevil. In just a second. Alright, after a much needed nap, I am Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. I'm going to tell you about the Netflix Daredevil series. So, to start off, the battle between DC and Marvel has many fronts right now, and there's two that I think most people would agree DC's winning. The first one is straight to DVD cartoon releases. DC has got that cornered right now. And the other is TV. DC's got Arrow and Flash going. Granted, Gotham's not very good, but Arrow and Flash more than make up for it. And all Marvel has right now is just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on its best episode doesn't even come close to Arrow or Flash. So to start off, this Daredevil is better than the Ben Affleck Daredevil in every possible conceivable way. I'll try not to make too many direct comparisons, but it's just better. It's better. Good and bad compared to other things, but between those two, Netflix is best. Except for one thing, it is missing this.
Bullseye.
Oh, why can't Colin Farrell's Bullseye be in every Marvel movie? Just kill a random guy every movie. That'd be great. Anyways, so to start off, this is a really good show, actually. I think Marvel's learned a lot from their missteps with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think they also took a few hints from Arrow and Flash and mixed it in with this. And they really took the 13 hours they had, 13 one-hour episodes, to really flush out a really good origin story and explore a lot of things. In your average, origin superheroes movie, you got 2 hours. Got 2 hours to take him from just a normal guy into being a hero at the end. This way, you can see, with the show, you can see a lot more missteps he took, kind of the build up to everything, how everything works. You can delve deeper into a lot of the characters, and it really worked out very well. So speaking of characters, this guy that plays Daredevil and Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, I have not seen him in anything, but where has he been? He is fantastic. There's a little bit that reminds me of kind of his look, and his mannerisms remind me a little bit of Daniel Radcliffe, but not in a bad way, just something I kind of noticed. Again, try not to do too many comparisons, but Ben Affleck's Daredevil was basically Batman. There wasn't a whole lot of difference. He's blind Batman, basically. And Daredevil's not just blind Batman. And this guy really pulls it into it. And he's got, it feels like three very distinct characters within this. When he's got his glasses on and he's just Matt Murdock, he's got a great personality of just being this overconfident, this lawyer that's going to help you out type thing. When he's got the mask on, he's very intimidating, and just, really well done. And he doesn't got a gargle voice. I mean, he does yell, but I don't know, he just doesn't, because, he's kind of a nobody lawyer, so it's not like someone's going to recognize his voice too much. So he doesn't really cover up his voice in a crappy voice. That was redundant. When he's just his face without sunglasses or a mask, he's kind of got this really vulnerable side that really plays well into Daredevil. And that's one thing you really see with this Daredevil is he is vulnerable. I mean, beyond having heightened senses, he's just a dude. He knows, martial arts, but he's still just a dude. And that's one thing they really show is, like, he gets tired. He, gets really beaten up. He fails a lot, and it's well done. Other characters that were kind of cool is Foggy Nelson. I can't remember the actor's name, but basically he was the other zombie in Idle Hands. If you remember Idle Hands, you had Seth Green was a zombie, and this was actually the other guy. That's the main thing I remember him from, which made me happy. But actually, he was a really good Foggy Nelson. He wasn't all just comic relief. He was a well-rounded, full character, and well done. And you got Karen Page, played by Deborah Ann Wall, and she was fantastic. There was a little bit of the damsel in distress with her, but I think they balanced that very well. Rosario Dawson just kind of popped up and left, and then popped up and left. I don't know if there's a scheduling conflict or what happened there, but she kind of was there, and she was a cool character, and then she left for a while, and then came back. It was weird. The other big thing you really got to talk about is Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. He looks the part. I don't know if he gained weight for this role, or if he just started getting fat. Happens to the best of us. But he was fantastic. He played this really weird. He was very unstable, yet cold and calculated at the same time. You just did not know what he was going to do. And there was this feeling at the end, like, you can't beat this guy. He's just too powerful. Man, he did really well. You just did not know what was going on with him. He played very vulnerable at times, very intimidating at times. It was kind of interesting. I liked it, and it was kind of a young Kingpin, so he's still even figuring out, how to do his thing too. Another great thing I have to mention too is the fight choreography is fantastic in this. It looks very realistic, but like realistic if Jackie Chan was doing it or something. Like, the hits you can just feel, but at the same time, he's flipping around, jumping, kicking. So it's not like your normal just street brawl, but it also feels like that. Like, the hits just feel real. There's this really cool scene in the second episode where it's just a still shot of the camera, and there's a fight going in and out of doors. So you just kind of hear noise at one side, and then they all bust through the wall and start beating each other up in the hallway, then go through another door. And, God, it was just rough, but like in the best way. Like, you just felt like getting beat up. He was getting beat up. Again, like, Daredevil gets beat up. There's times in Batman movies or any of the other superhero movies where they come up to like a group of thugs and they just, destroy them. Like, they don't even get touched. This Daredevil gets hit, and you'd think that would happen. Like, you're fighting crime, you're gonna get, at least one hit or two landed on you, and this Daredevil really gets beaten up at times. So without being too spoilery and having, going into too many details, I'm going to try and keep this generic. One thing I think that Daredevil has over Arrow and Flash is that there's not a freak of the week. There's not one villain that it goes out, beats, and moves on. And even though Flash and Arrow do that and they have kind of a continuous storyline, each episode kind of does follow, one bad guy, one episode. And I think that's due to the medium of this Netflix series, being that it's all released in one shot. So one bad guy probably doesn't get as boring. I don't know, I watched it all in one shot, but you can tell like they had a plan, and it almost feels like this is just a 13-hour movie. Like, if you just cut out all the credits at the beginning and end and put it together, this would be one cohesive movie. There are, I think, maybe one or two almost throwaway episodes. And at some points it did feel like they're struggling with filling up these 13 episodes, but it still was done really well. It had this really good craft. The first episode is fantastic, and then it kind of goes, and then it ups the game again in the middle, and then by the end, and then the very last episode is fantastic. So it's just kind of, as you might start feeling bored, bam, it hits you again. Bam, it hits you again. It's, done really, really well. There's not a whole lot of Easter eggs, and I won't try and give too much away, but there were some hints at Iron Fist, which I believe is going to be one of the Netflix series coming out. And, of course, they referenced the Avengers. And the main thing is, too, this takes place right after the Avengers. And that's kind of one of the cool storylines about this is... Basically, this takes place right after the Battle of New York, and although we've seen Fallout a little bit in the other movies, we haven't seen what happened in New York. And this kind of shows, Hell's Kitchen got all messed up from the alien attack. Now that brought in all this greed and corruption of people rebuilding it, but also filling their own pockets as they rebuild it, and it's just really cool how that would tie in. I'm not sure where it fits exactly in the Phase 2 timeline, because it's really scoped. It's very much just this city and just these people within this city, which is really cool considering how broad scope that the movies are. Iron Man's going back and forth through all these states, saving the president and doing all that stuff. Captain America's bringing down Hydra, and going with S.H.I.E.L.D., and Thor's going through the 9 realms. There's like these big scopes, so this is kind of cool to focus on one little area, and it's going to be really cool to see what they do with their other Netflix series. If you didn't know, the next one coming out is going to be called AKA Jessica Jones. And not a lot's known about that yet. I believe they're going to be doing a Luke Cage and then an Iron Fist, and then building up to a Defenders movie. And it's so it's kind of like doing the Avengers thing again, but a little different, because these are all what's known as street level heroes. Like, these are ones that just go and beat on thugs and drug dealers and rapists. They don't deal with the big problems. They're just saving their city and their neighborhood. So it's pretty cool to see Marvel do that, because they haven't done that in their movies so far, and it's really cool. And this is just a fantastic, series. I would definitely watch it. So on a scale, on the Marvel Cinematic Universe scale, top being Avengers, bottom being Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I would put this as... I'd put this as Thor: The Dark World. Fulfilling, enjoyable, not without its flaws, though.